All right, nice. Guys, welcome to Double D's Nuts podcast.
Woo!
I'm so glad that you're here to join us. Like I said last week, Matt is no longer with us, so it's just the Darren and Destinee show.
Pour one out for Matt.
I know. We'll miss him though.
He will be
But
missed.
I mean, I'm excited because I still have Darren here. Darren, how you been doing?
Hello, everyone. The Darren's in the house.
I like it. I like it a lot. He's so cool.
That's why I'm on the show. I'm the cool one out of the two of us. You're the nerdy one.
I am the nerdy one, but the glasses. They don't help me see or anything. I just need them to look the part. But anyways, let's get down to it. So our podcast is about gaming. It's basically kind of the same as the other podcast where we talk about social issues, gaming, movies, basically whatever we want to talk about, we talk about on this podcast. So
what podcast are you talking about, Destinee? There is no other
I'm talking
podcast.
about Double D's podcast.
Exactly.
That's the other only podcast that I was talking counts. About. That's right. That's the only podcast that counts. You're right. Forget what I said about any podcast from the past because it no longer exists, so we don't care about that.
Nope.
Okay, so let's start. So we do things a little differently on Double D's Nuts.
Hell yeah.
What we like to do is start off with some news. But because me and Darren are so competitive about who gets to talk about the news, we actually play a little game of rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
So Darren.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I was born ready, D.
You look like you were born ready, actually. Like, this whole look is, like, nice. I'm loving it.
I feel ready. The sunglasses really, they pull the whole ensemble together.
They do. It's kind of like you have a lot more confidence. Like, just looking at you, you look like a pilot. That's what it reminds me of. Like, you're flying a jet and stuff.
It's because they're reflective, so it hides the fear behind my eyes.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Ready.
Hands up. Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, it's tight. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, you win.
Paper covers rock.
Okay.
All right. So, our first story that we're going to be talking about, sorry, I'm looking down, guys, because we have them all listed here, but it's been brought to us from Activision and Blizzard 2021 financials. So let's just talk about what this is really. Blizzard has lost almost 29% of its overall active player base in 3 years.
Wow.
And that's intense because they have a lot of games out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly updating WoW.
Mm-hmm.
And they're constantly putting out new material.
In fact,
Darren,
they just had a new.
That is?
In fact, they just had a new World of Warcraft expansion that came out. I think it was this year, Shadowlands. And despite that, they're still losing players. That's insane. I actually think that's like, it kind of makes me happy because Activision as a publisher has been one of the big like proponents of just shoving microtransactions into like every single game that they can. So right. I think this means that people are actually starting to catch on to, you know, their dirty tricks. But the other part about this story that's interesting to me, I want to know what you think about, is that despite their player count going down, their revenue is still going up.
That's interesting. So does it mean like the players that they have are buying more, are actually doing those microtransactions, and the people that they're losing are the people who aren't willing to do that?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it means. Activision's trying to be more aggressive in monetization. So the consumers that are left are buying more microtransactions because I don't think they've had like an increase in game production, considering we were just talking about last week how like every studio is basically working on some form of Call of Duty, and Call of Duty is still only like an annual franchise. So like they're not making more games. How are they making more money? They have to be like doing these bad business practices.
They have to be. And you know what? I think probably the player base that's actually being sucked in is people who have been playing WoW for a really long time.
Yeah.
And they're
Longtime players
probably
are
the
being
ones that
screwed.
die hard fans, and they're willing to do, whatever, like whatever for like that new shiny armor or like those like special perks.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad because I just feel like those are the ones that you should honor. They're the ones who've been with you for the longest. So it's kind of shitty that you're being shady with them.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
yeah. So are you ready for the next one?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Hands out. Rock, paper,
okay,
scissors.
ready? Did you do rock again? Okay. Thank God.
I did scissors this time.
Scissors. Okay.
All right. I got the story.
Go ahead.
I know we talked about doing rock, paper, scissors before this show, but like I'm
it's
immediately
so
realizing, how hard it is to do like through
It's like there's
camera.
like a delay.
Well,
God.
anyways, the news story I'm going to choose to ask you about is coming from Venture Beat. Nintendo Switch hits 84.59 million units sold, with 28 million units sold this year. So Nintendo reported its year-end financial results today.
That like as of 2021? Because this year's not even over yet.
Yeah, this is as of May. No, sorry, this past fiscal year. So like.
Oh, okay.
Through the whole, not just like the 5 months that we've been into this year, like through the entire previous fiscal year, they sold 28 million or close to 30, 28.8. It's 29. Nintendo reported its year-end financial results today because it's the end of the fiscal year, and said that Switch sold more than 28.8 million consoles, up 37.1% in the past 12 months that ended March 31st. So what's interesting about this is a couple things. First, they're forecasting that they think that in the next fiscal year, by March 31st, 2022, they're going to sell 26 million units, which is either just very conservative or, I don't know what they're forecasting, but the idea is that number they're predicting is lower than what they sold this year. So they're thinking that their sales have peaked. And then the other interesting thing is that if they keep selling at this rate, it will become the best-selling console of all time, surpassing both the Wii and the PS2, the PS2 being the current best-selling console of all time. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think COVID helped a lot with that.
Yeah.
I think they're being smart in thinking and like in going lower, even though it sounds conservative, because there's talk of a new Switch coming out. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense that people would hold off on buying this one if a new one's right around the corner.
Yeah, agreed. I think what I'm going to ask you about is, because COVID, I do think helps this year as well. They might have peaked because, I mean, it's been like 4 years or 4 years now at this point since the console came out. But what's interesting is the fiscal year starts March 31st. So this is just shortly after the launch of Animal Crossing. So Animal Crossing must have sold some Switches, because I don't think it's too
definitely think it did. And then
you bought 2 Switches because of Animal Crossing.
I bought 2 Switches because of Matt. But then I got the second one because it was cute. And I still haven't played it. It's over there.
By the way, have you opened it up yet?
No.
Still haven't opened it. Okay, because last week you said you were going to open it up.
I said I was going to open it, but then I realized that like I'd have to sign up for like Nintendo subscription on that one too, and it's like,
yeah. What do you think Nintendo would have to do to try and increase their sales, stop a peak?
I think if they added more to, like, okay, so I honestly believe Animal Crossing really did give them a boost, right? Mm-hmm. And I think there's still a lot of people who like Animal Crossing, but I think Animal Crossing has gotten boring because it's like a year-long game. I think if they really tried to update it and add some more stuff to it, that like those original people who got Animal Crossing and kind of fell off would come back to it. And I mean something more than like, an egg event where you have to find eggs. I mean like something big, like a big announcement. I think that would bring people back to it. And then like people who haven't got it yet, they'll hear the hype, because the reason why I originally got it was because Matt was hyping up
as
Animal
he normally
Crossing.
does.
Like yeah, and Cinna was too. So they were both like, please get a Switch, we'll play together. Just to let you know, I think we played together 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah, I think I remember those times. Like, one time all of us were together at a Star Shower.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time all 4 of us ever played together. And that was
that is
in
the
March.
last time we were all 4 together. And that was like right after I got the game.
Yeah.
So I think Animal Crossing has like a lot of potential to do more. And I think they should do more with it.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think that could bring in a lot of people.
Yeah, clearly. And if you look at the list, I think it says like the top selling games for it are, Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, like big staples. So also just like, release more games people want to play. Like, come on. People buy systems because they want to play games.
Right. I also think Switch itself is just a really nice console because you can take it with you and you can hook it up to the TV. And nobody's done that yet. That was pretty fucking innovative.
Yeah. So. And it's still portable. So, people want to buy one for like each member of the household. Everybody wants their own. Like, I know me and my mom and like my brother when he was living with me, like we all have our own Switch. So we don't each all have our own PS4. That's for sure.
Yeah, no. That
would
be weird. I mean, like, okay. But all right. I'm ready. I feel like rock, paper, scissors is not working because of the delay. And I hate that because I only want us to be successful. But just listen, we're always going to be successful. But for the next 2 news stories, I think you should do one and I should do one. And then we'll figure out rock, paper, scissors later.
I have my hands up I have my hands up right now. Almost in, like victory.
You were excited.
Yes.
Like you were ready. And then I was like, nah.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, next story, Destiny. What do you got for us?
All right, so we just talked about the Switch. We talked about Blizzard. And this next one kind of hits close to home because I kind of grew up playing games. And basically, this comes from VB Games Beat. Nintendo Switch. Oh, just kidding. I lied. I clicked the wrong link. All right. So this comes from The Guardian. Sorry. Video games have replaced music as the most important aspect of youth culture by Sean Monahan. And honestly, first of all, I want to say, Sean, that's a real, like...
That's a big claim.
Strong statement to make,
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's necessarily it. I think he's basing a lot of it off of, like, last year's performance for video games, up until this year. And just to be honest, like they say it's beating music and movies, but COVID really put a stop to a lot of people going out to the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And music, I think, is always up and down because it's always what's trending, what's not trending. And like I think it's very volatile. Music has always been that way. And it usually changes within the next decade, right? I think for games, though, like they've just consistently gotten better. Yes. Right? But I don't think that they're taking the place of movies and music, just because I believe all of those things bring you something a little different. Now, I do remember us talking about how some games seem more like movies, like playable movies, instead of just being like your typical platformer or your brawler or RPG. But I don't think there's enough of those out yet for us to really say that they're kind of taking over the movie genre. That's my opinion. What do you think?
It's so interesting. Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, especially on the point that, like, because this is an opinion a piece, and he has a pretty strong opinion to be saying that, replacing youth culture. I do see where he's coming from. Like you said, in terms of making money in COVID for 2020, again, people had to make fewer movies. And for music, that industry's already been kind of devastated financially because of stuff like Spotify and people just downloading music. And then the other thing he mentioned was sports.
Napster was the beginning of that downfall. Napster.
Did you know Napster's still around too, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if you've been on Napster recently.
I thought they got shut down.
I think they've come back as like a subscription service or something like that.
That was smart of them.
Yeah. Change with the times. But the other thing that they're
Yeah.
saying that they beat in terms of money is sports. And also, COVID, sports weren't happening either. But I see
Yeah.
where the claim is coming from, because even people in movies and in music are acknowledging games more. Like the article brings up artists like, oh my god, I gotta find it now. He actually mentioned specific musicians. Yeah, Lil Nas X and Travis Scott, both big gamers, and they're making a lot of allusions to video games in like their music videos and their songs and movies. You're
And I
seeing
get
a lot more
that.
video game movies coming out and stuff like that.
I totally get that, but like I said, like music follows trends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Little Nas and like Travis Scott and like Tyler the Creator, they're like they're famous, but they're kind of a niche. Like not everybody listens to their music also, right? So I think it's
Right.
great that he brought up those people, but it's like you have people who have been in the game, in the music game for a long time. And
Mm-hmm.
it really is about what's trending. Now, I do hope that this
Mm-hmm.
is a positive thing and that the rest of the world, the movie industry, music industry, sports industry, start to take the game industry more seriously. And I think maybe this could be a
Yes.
step towards that, which is something positive coming out of it.
Totally well said. Completely agree with you.
Thanks. All right.
I guess it's
So
my turn for
we
the
have
next news story.
one last news story. Go ahead.
I'm so bad at cutting you off. I apologize, Destiny.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're doing this
It's the
together.
sunglasses. They're making me feel too cool. And I'm just like, I gotta take charge. The testosterone's flowing through me. I feel my biceps growing as I speak. Thank you. Thank you, Destiny. My voice is getting deeper and it's hurting me.
That was really good. No, that was really good. I feel my biceps growing as I'm speaking. That's amazing.
So our last story is coming from IGN. Sony now expecting PS5 shortages to continue into next year. Coming from Liam Wiseman, reporting on a Bloomberg article, which originally broke the news. Basically, according to Bloomberg, Sony Group Corp was warning analysts that because of the semiconductor shortage and because of the high demand of PS5s, the shortage could last till 2022. And this is coming off of Sony announcing, or not really Sony announcing, just kind of the reality that the PS5 is the fastest selling game console in United States history in both money and units, which is pretty crazy, all things considered, even in spite of the shortage. How do you feel about this? I know you're not really a PS5 person, but what do you think?
I'm not. I still rock my PS3, but that's not important. I feel like this is probably gonna like negatively affect some developers who are developing games for the PS5 specifically.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt their sales. And then for some people, like for some devs who have to push out, their release date, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But also I'm kind of like, come on, Sony. Like,
it's hard.
What's really going on?
Yeah, I never even thought about what you said in terms of it hurting developers, because I think that's a huge point, because there's a lot of developers. I mean, I'm sure Sony's pushing them to be making PS5 exclusives because it makes their console look good, but you can't make money off of a console exclusive if nobody can buy the console.
Exactly.
And I think
think of all the people who. I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean
ahead.
to cut you off, but I was just going to say, think of all of the devs who have already been creating exclusives, right? And then there's like a finite number of like sales you'll get because like nobody can get their hands on one.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it yet, but I'm curious to see what the sales are for Returnal, which just came out that Matt was talking about. Because that's a console exclusive. It's being sold in Canada $89.99, which is like a huge price.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, how many people are actually going to buy this? And the other thing that I'm curious about is I'm wondering if the sales are extra, because I've tried to, find a console, but it's so hard to get one. You have to be looking at like, beepers and alarms and things like that. Otherwise they sell out in 10 minutes. And I'm wondering if it wasn't for COVID, if I would have an easier time, because sales are only online right now in Canada. And like a lot of places, people are only buying things online. And guess what you have if you have only online sales? You have bots and you have scalpers that are buying up all the stock. And maybe this is conspiratorial, but I am thinking that the sales are super high partially because bots and scalpers. Like you go on eBay and you see pages of people with photos of like 15 PS5 consoles in their living room. Like,
that's crazy.
They're buying it all up from people that actually want to play it for themselves, and it frustrates
and that's
me a little
shitty.
bit. Yeah,
that's really shitty. And I think like there should be a limit to how many you can buy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there needs to be some regulations put into place, because nobody fucking needs 15 just to turn around and resell them at a higher. I mean, like, I don't know. I just think like ethically that's a little fucked up.
Oh, for sure. Completely agree.
Yeah. So I didn't know that it was so crazy, honestly, because I really don't follow PS5 news. So I didn't know that they were like sold out. So when my friend told me like a company that she worked with, which is a dev company and they have a few or whatever, was willing to sell her one of the ones that they had, I was like, what, like at a discount? Like I didn't understand what the importance of it was. And she was like, she's like, no, at full price.
No, you can't
and I was
find
like,
them.
Yeah, I was like, why? You just buy it normally. And she's like, they're sold out everywhere. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, you can't.
Okay. Didn't know that.
So, yeah, I don't know how Sony can fix this, because there's not really much they can do. They can't control semiconductor shortages. And Sony themselves can't stop scalpers and bots. So I guess it's up to the retailers to do something. But
it's up,
I mean,
yeah,
they
it's
get
up
their
to
money
the
either
retailers. Way. Yeah, and they don't care.
No, they don't care at all.
They don't, which is sad. But maybe, I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but maybe big name developers will start partnering with like Amazon and stuff like that for releases of new consoles.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I'm very curious if that's going to happen moving forward.
Yeah, could
I'm kind of
happen.
terrified of that.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's good or bad. Right?
Might happen.
But
I don't know. It sounds.
I mean, it sounds smart, but then you'll know they'll find a way to like leech. Like they will. Like it won't even be like, yeah. But all right, Darren, I'd like to thank you for presenting your 2 news stories. That was amazing, especially in those sunglasses.
Thank you, Destinee, for presenting your 2 news stories.
Well, thank you for thanking me.
I mean, we gotta be
so well.
It is. We gotta be a pair. We gotta be a good pair on the Double D's Nuts podcast. I mean, it's all about a give and a take.
It is 50-50.
50-50. That's our motto on the Double D's Nut podcast. 50-50. Give and take.
Double D's. All right, so moving on to our next topic. Darren, do you know what our next topic is?
Well, I was going to just ask how you're doing.
Forget? Oh, well, you can ask how I'm doing. I'm doing all right.
How are you doing?
I've been playing Terra.
Okay, so yeah, tell me more about Terra. Because I saw in Final Fantasy you haven't logged on in a while. So I'm wondering how Terra's doing.
Man, Terra's so good. So some news that I heard about Terra is that the creators, the devs of them, the ones who created the first one, I think it's Bluehole. Bluehole. They're working on a new one, and it's called a
nice subsidiary of Double D's Nuts.
Yeah, it's called
not at all. I just thought that was funny.
Ilion. I don't know. EYLON. But basically, it's almost like a clone of Terra, which I have no problem with.
Or you think of Albion?
Like, no. Am I? It's not out yet.
I keep getting
Like, you
like
can
Facebook
beta
ads
test
for
it.
some like MMO called Albion, I think.
Does that start with an A or an E?
A.
No. It starts with an E.
Well, oh well.
It's basically like Terra, like the same very active combat style, which I really love. Very interactive. Some of the monsters are even the same, and so I was looking up information about it, and one of the guys had connections with Bluehole and some of the people who used to work there, and they've literally taken monsters from Terra over to this new game and just
What?
retexturized them.
Like with
Yeah.
their permission.
Yeah. Well, because
Okay.
they still own the assets.
Right.
So they just, because it's still Blue, yeah. So they just took like, and like, it's not even like you can't tell. Like, they almost move exactly the same, have the same attack style. They just have different textures. And I was
Interesting.
like, that's so lazy. I mean, I'm not going to complain because I'm going to play it. But the thing is it's like, they're trying to present this as a whole new game. And they
Yeah.
have monsters from the old game.
That's weird.
I don't
I don't know
know.
how I feel about that either. It's like, are they marketing it as like a Terra remake or something?
No, they're marketing it as a new game. But then I was like, can I really be upset about that? Because Final Fantasy 11 and then you get Final Fantasy 14, it's still very similar, right?
Yeah, they have like even the
So,
races are almost identical. Like they're named different, but they look the same basically.
right. So I was like, I guess I really can't say anything about this new game coming out from Terra because
Yeah.
14 is not technically a remake of 11. It's a
No.
whole new story.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the way to save money, to save time, especially in a time where we have a pandemic going on and stuff like that. I can't like really like hate on them that much because I love the game. But I was just really surprised. I just feel like don't present something as it being absolutely brand new if it's not really brand new.
Yeah, and honestly,
That's all.
sometimes it's just like marketing because, like, maybe if they talk about like, oh, this is the spiritual sequel to Terra, then that changes everything perspective wise. Like,
Yeah,
oh, damn,
it
it's a
does.
sequel. But if you're like, no,
Like
this is
it
new,
makes
this is original,
sense.
then like, no, that's weird.
Yeah, right? Because you're like, wait a minute, I've seen these monsters before.
Did you get in the beta though?
I didn't get in the beta, but I didn't try either. But now that I know about it, I am going to sign up and try for the beta. Most of it's in Korean though, so we'll see if they have like English beta site and everything. I'm really excited though because it looks dope. Terra's beautiful regardless, so I'm really excited to see like what new stuff they put into this other game.
I have a question, and I'm scared to ask this
Yes,
question
I
because
have
I
an
don't want
answer.
I don't want to give you any false hope
Oh
because
God.
there's no hope. But
Okay.
what's the like subscription for Terra? Like, is there like a free trial or
Oh,
something?
it's free
Is it?
completely.
Oh, okay.
You should try it out. Darren, you should try it out because you don't have to pay for anything.
All right. All right. I'll
You'll
see.
like it. I swear to God, Darren, you'll like it. Like you'll like it. Darren, if you don't like it, I'll buy you pizza.
I would like to see that.
I mean it's easy. I just call like a pizza place near you and have them deliver it
That's
to your
true. That's a
house.
long distance phone
Yeah.
call for you though.
Darren, I'm good.
Okay.
Guys, I'm
Okay.
rich, bitch.
All right. All right. We'll see. I'm in pretty deep to Final Fantasy, but we'll see.
I know, but just try it. I tried Final Fantasy up to level 25. Okay, I gave it a good run. I'm
Yeah.
still going to play it, but just try and see if you like it. If you don't like it, that's okay. You didn't pay anything except time.
If it's free, it's worth a shot. I can give it a
Yeah,
shot if it's free.
it's on Steam.
Okay. I'll see. Maybe okay.
Oh my god,
I'm
I'm
not
excited.
promising by next week, but I'll give it a
No,
shot.
whenever. You
All
just
right.
message me whenever you're ready to play it.
Okay. All right.
So, Darren, what have you been up to?
Well, I had an event that I hosted recently in Final Fantasy 14 that went really well, I think.
Nice.
We're playing a game that a bunch of free companies have played. I actually stole the idea from the very first free company I joined, Human Darts, and
Okay.
it's a great game.
Please explain.
So get this: picture a cliff, okay,
Right.
over a beautiful landscape, and at the bottom of this cliff is a beautiful floor. And now one person, myself, jumps off this cliff and kills themselves. And now all the free company members have to jump off the cliff and try and get as close to my body as they can. And the closer they land, the more points they get.
What do they win for sacrificing their life?
So I gave them Gil. I was giving out Gil prizes. Like everybody got money. There was a first, second, third place winner, and
Nice.
everyone got money. And I also gave out like a little minion, which are the little like guys that like follow behind you. There was like a level. There's a level. The current content. There's a level 80 zone called Bozja that has some exclusive minions. So I took a minion from this zone so that people that were like, you know, in earlier levels can get access to like an earlier later game minion.
That's so awesome. Darren, how long have you been playing Final Fantasy? Because like you are deep. You're over here like commanding things, like vice president.
I know. I'm not a command. Oh my god, I already forgot what my freaking designation was.
Title was
my title. I think I'm a captain. I'm a captain. I'm a dredging captain. And once again, if you're interested in joining, listeners, the ashes of your free company on the Leviathan server.
You guys should join if you play.
You should join.
Darren takes really good care of newbies.
I do. I want to make sure everyone's having a good time and everyone's having fun. And to answer your original question, I've now been playing this game for 800 hours.
Okay, but like how long? Like a year? Like you've only really been playing it for like
it's
shorter than a year.
Yeah, it's been less than a year. 800 hours in less than a year, which I don't think that's lower than some of the other people in my free company.
Oh, definitely.
But I still put a lot of time. 800. That's not nothing to.
Hey, that's nothing to scoff at. 800 is a lot. Like, geez, that's a lot of time. But I mean, like, it's good that you find enjoyment in it. So if you're enjoying it, there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And I also want to bring up something not related to Final Fantasy that I've been up to. To totally different note, I just got, I think maybe the sunglasses were part of this. I've been trying to relive my inner rock star. And to blow off some steam, I downloaded a free game called Clone Hero, which is a free PC version of Guitar Hero and Rock Band, where you can download your own custom songs. And I pulled up my plastic guitar. Yeah. I pulled up my plastic guitar from my basement, plugged it in, was just playing away. I got every song from every single Guitar Hero game. I'm just like,
that's dope.
Going at it. Yeah. My fingers hurt. They're like actually sore. I'm nowhere near as good at this game as I used to be. I don't know. Destiny, do you know anything about my previous life as a Guitar Hero addict?
I don't.
Me and my friend Aaron would play this game pretty much every single day since the very first game came out on the PS2. We didn't get on the bandwagon late. We were there at the start. We were playing Guitar Hero before it was cool. And both me and him were just competing to see how good we could get. And like, obviously both of us could play every single song on the hardest difficulty, like no problem. We were just like killing it. I never got too good at the game, but Aaron was getting like world record scores on some songs and stuff like that. Like we were deep into it. Except I haven't played in like 4 years. So you do lose
I mean, like, I
ability
can
after a
see,
while.
like, you get a little rusty because
Yeah.
you lose those, like, motor skills that are for it.
Yeah.
I heard that one of the hardest songs to play is Pretender by the Foo Fighters on
No.
Guitar Hero.
No.
No?
That's not, no.
Oh.
It's
Wow.
that I played that. Actually, that was one of the songs I played on Clone Hero. Because I
I love
actually
that
really like that
song.
song. Yeah, it's a fantastic song.
Yeah.
But no, I think the record. Okay, to be honest, on Score Hero now you can get songs that are like so difficult it's dumb, and I'll never play them. Like people build them to be stupid difficult. But if we're going just by like classic Guitar Hero songs that were actually in the game, the stereotype is Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force. And that was on Guitar Hero 3. And I have beaten that on Expert.
Nice.
So
well, look at you.
Gonna relive my rock star. I'm gonna actually probably after this podcast, I'm gonna play a few songs. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go back at it.
No, I think that's dope. After this podcast, I'm going to play some. No, I'm actually going to play some Stardew Valley because, yeah, I haven't done it in a while, and I told this person that I would play with them, so I'm going to play with them.
Enjoy. Are you still liking that game? Have they updated it all?
Yo, there have been so many updates, and it's been so long since I've like logged in. I don't want to lie to you, so I don't even know what I'm logging into. But I mean, I'm kind of excited. So. I just can't wait to start farming.
Yeah. Oh my god.
All right, so Darren, I'm glad you're having a good time, and now that we've caught everybody up on what we've been doing, let's jump right into our topic.
And what's our main topic, Destinee?
I don't know, Darren. What's our main topic?
We kind of already gave everyone a bit of a preview, mentioning Terra and Final Fantasy. We are talking about
a preview.
MMOs, MMORPGs, and Destinee.
We are talking about MMOs.
This was your idea for the topic, yes. So why don't you introduce it?
All right, so basically what we're going to be talking about is just our thoughts on MMOs moving forward. What can they bring, what they already have, and what we could look forward to seeing in MMOs. And basically, I think my first MMO was, well, okay, technically my first MMO was WoW, but like not really. And let me explain why. I was dating a guy who worked for Blizzard who is like a 3D level designer, and he showed me the game like when I was at his house, and I didn't really know what it was. And so like he was like, well, here, like get on and create something, because it was in beta at this time. So I was like, oh, like the night elves are so pretty, which they were. Now looking at them now, I'm like, oh my god. But back then I had never seen anything like it. And like that was my first introduction to MMOs, but I didn't actually play an MMO until like maybe 2015. Wow. And my first MMO was Terra.
Oh.
Was Terra. But I did try Final Fantasy 14, and I don't remember how far I got in it.
How long ago was it when you tried it the first time?
Final Fantasy 14 around the same time I tried Terra.
Okay.
Because I was trying to find a game where I could play with multiple friends.
Right.
So we tried Final Fantasy, and at the that's like around the time I think it came out, close to the time.
Yeah, that was around the time.
Giving away. Go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking.
It's
sorry,
okay,
I was thinking out loud. I was like, I think it's not. That was, I think, around the time of the first expansion, if I remember correctly. So like they were just coming off of their reboot.
I just remember them giving away free trials at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried it out, and then my friend was also like, hey, let's try Terra. So then I tried Terra, and I absolutely fell in love with Terra. I like the character design and all of that stuff. So I've been stuck on that. I was trying to play Terra when I was in Korea, and I couldn't get on the servers to play with my friends. I was so bummed. I was without Terra for 5 years. It was such a long time. So,
did you ever go
moving
back to WoW at
forward,
all?
no.
That's fair. I don't think
I
that's a
don't
big
have
loss.
anything against WoW. I just feel like the people who play WoW are not my type of people. Like, I'm very much a casual gamer. And I feel like a lot of people who play WoW are like really into WoW,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I'm just not really into it like that. So, and to be honest with you, on Terra, I only play with select friends. Like, I don't meet people and become friends with them, which sounds terrible because that's kind of what the game is about, is meeting people and partying, but I don't. And even when I play Terra by myself, I'm doing solo everything. That's just how much I enjoy the game
Wow.
itself. Yeah. So basically, what I wanted to know is, Darren, I know you are now in the world of MMOs,
Yes.
and is 14 your first MMO?
Yes. So actually, I'm going to start by taking off my sunglasses because they're giving me a headache. It turns out wearing sunglasses in a dark room, even with a ring light staring at you, it's still really hard on your eyes. So, um, yeah, it's my first MMO. I had some friends that played WoW. I tried to get me into it. I never ended up actually downloading a trial or anything like that. My stance before playing Final Fantasy was pretty much like, I'll never play an MMO in my life. They're a waste of time. You have to grind for hours, and I just like don't see the benefit of playing a game forever. I have so many other games I want to play. Like, I don't care. Um, but yeah, Final Fantasy 14 is the only MMO I've ever tried. I don't really have a lot to compare it to. But from like my understanding, I know it's much more story focused than most MMOs are. And it's supposed to be very single player friendly, but I don't know how single player friendly Terra is in comparison. Like, would you call Terra single player friendly?
I would call it single player friendly only because like I'm I think with the character that I'm playing right now, like she's level 47, and a lot of her dungeons within the story you have to do solo.
Mm-hmm.
And
Interesting.
then later you can, yeah. And then later you can come back and do like those like story based dungeons with other people, but the first time you go through, a lot of them is like, you, in order to progress the story, it has to be solo, because the ideal of the game is that you are the hero, so you're the one who's going through all of these trials.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I that's the story of Final Fantasy 14 as well, and I think that's what attracted me to 14 specifically, is because unlike, from my understanding, WoW, you're not the main character of the story. The main character of the World of Warcraft story is like the characters you see in cutscenes and cinematics. They're the main characters, and you're
Yes,
just like wrapped in on
and
it.
you're a background character. Yeah.
Yeah. But I want to feel like I'm part of the story, and Final Fantasy 14 is really good at that. And I want to say also that like my first impression was kind of true. Like, Final Fantasy 14 is kind of grindy. And it is a game that lasts forever and takes a long time to get to places. Like, I played for 800 hours and I only finished up to like the end of the final expansion that's out. So to put that into perspective, that's a base game and 3 expansions. It took me like 700 hours to get through all that content. Um, so like
But you're also, would you say you're a completionist?
a little bit. Like, I'm not, especially for this game, because there's
Okay.
just too much content. I don't do every little side quest, but I've done every single what's called a blue plus side quest, which is a side quest that unlocks like a large mechanic of the game. Because in Final
Okay.
Fantasy 14, all of the things that you can do in the game are locked behind the story. So, like, do you want to change your hairstyle? That's behind a side quest. Do you want to get your mount? That's behind a side quest. Do you want to like uh, become a crafter? That's behind a side quest. Like,
Behind a
everything
side
is behind
quest.
a side
Okay.
quest. So all of those
Makes
side quests I've
sense.
done.
But
But
that makes sense. Like that's like character development and like other things. Yeah.
yeah, and it's interesting to me because I'm going to ask you a question in a second. But what attracted to me, what attracted to me, what attracted me to the MMO genre once I started playing it was the social experience. I never in a million years thought I would make friends over this video game because I've played multiplayer games before and that's never happened to me. So why would I expect it to happen here? But when I found out is that MMOs are like, I mean, that's what they're built for. They're built for a social
Yes.
community experience. It's entirely designed to get you to be constantly talking to people. Um,
Yeah.
and that blew me away. So my question to you is, if you don't like the social experience, what attracted you to MMOs?
I do like the social experience, but like more so as I like socializing with people I already know
Okay.
playing the game. Like
Right.
I'm like if I meet someone else, like that's fine and dandy, but I don't go out of my way to like search for guilds and things like that. Because I'm this type of person in real life too. Like I like spending time with people that I know I'm going to have a good time with.
Right.
And if I meet other people along the way, like when we would go to like bars and stuff, if I met people along the way, that'd be great. But like I always had my core group, and that's the people that like I enjoy and have the most fun with. And when I first got the idea to play an MMO, it was for that reason, to play with people that I already really enjoyed spending time with and who were all gamers. Um, so this was just something that we could all do together in a game.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean that's how I started playing too. I was never going to play if Alistair and Matt didn't drag me into play with them. I also never would have played if I didn't get a free trial. But I needed something to like, bait
No, and
me
I
into
think
it.
that's fair. You need to try it out first, and like if you like it, then you'll be willing to pay for it. And I think it's smart that they give you a free trial.
So what is it about them you think that's so like I want to say addicting, but like not a super negative addicting? Like just what makes them so engaging? Like what makes MMOs in your opinion like what latches you onto them to make you want to play them for hundreds of hours?
I think it's the fact that you're immersing yourself into a world with like other people. So
Hmm.
it's not like you're just playing a game that's already got a story that's completely set and it's really linear. I feel like MMOs aren't, they're linear, but they're not at the
Hmm.
same time, right? You have people who role play on there. You have people who can be creative and make things on there. You are able to create your own looks on there. Like you can change it up. There's so many different aspects to the game that you don't get with just like a 25 30-hour game, right? Because once that game is over, it's over. But with this game, like you can see yourself grow, you can see other people get better at the game, and they're constantly adding expansions so that there's more story for you to go back and play. And not only that, if there's no story, if you've already hit like peak level, you go there just to help people because that's how much you enjoy the game. And you go there to like talk to your friends or just hang out with your friends or just grind a little bit. And I think that's what kind of addicts people to the game is it's an escape, but it's also a social escape.
Yeah, that's so well said because I didn't realize it was like that until I actually played it. Like, do you know the anime Sword Art Online?
Yes.
Yeah, so I when I had my old job a long time ago, one of my coworkers was really into Sword Art Online, and I didn't normally get scheduled at the same time as my coworkers, but for some reason, like it's one of those kinds of jobs where like only one person's doing it at a time and you like swap out. But like for some reason
Right.
randomly, me and him were together at the same time and he made me watch the first season of Sword Art Online with him like through the whole shift. But I enjoyed
Which
it.
is the best season.
Yeah, I
Because
didn't
the
want to
second
watch
season's
past
kind
it.
of trash.
No,
Yeah.
I tried to watch some of the second season. I'm like, I'm done. Um,
Yeah.
but Sword Art Online makes MMOs look like these huge worlds that are super active and like people are basically living their life inside of them. And I'm like, that's really funny. I've always seen this as like a trope, but like there's no way it's actually like that. But it is. People
It's
are
exactly like that.
MMOs are basically life simulators in a fantasy
Yeah, they
world.
are. That's
I-
exactly what they are. People are getting into relationships. They're building long, like lifelong friendships. They're getting married in the
yeah.
game. Like,
And
it's
the
definitely a place where you can meet someone because you guys have that in common. You already
mhm.
have that in common,
Yeah.
right? So,
And even beyond that, just the content in the games themselves. There's so much content in these games. Like I wasn't expecting in Final Fantasy 14 like yeah, you craft all your own stuff, but not just like, oh, I put a couple things into like a menu and it's synthesized. Like it's like no, it's actual like a physical thing that you have to do. You have to like at least in Final Fantasy, you have like specific skills and things you have to do to like build things manually. You have to physically craft, and people are doing crafting, and people are doing dungeons, and people are just like farming and like making a house. Like our free company just got a house, and I got a room, and now I have my own room, and now I have to decorate my room. So I'm like playing Animal Crossing within Final Fantasy. Um,
it's dope, right?
yeah, I
There's
just
always something going on. And I think that's also the appeal of MMOs. There's always something going on.
yeah.
Um, and that's just nice. It's just fun. It's like you don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money on drinks and stuff. You can have a drink and like hang out with your boys in a game and do some stuff that you already like doing, like Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins. But yeah, no, I enjoy MMOs, and I think the next step, and I don't even know when this is going to happen, but I'm ready for player one style MMO. Okay,
Oh
like
yeah, Ready
I'm
Player One style.
ready
Like you
to
just plug yourself
just
in.
be in the game. Yes, like
That's how you get people
now
to
that's
not
going to
live their
be hella
lives.
addicting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're just
but I
like,
feel like you'll log out like when you get hungry,
or your eyes start bleeding from staring at a
or
screen
your
all
eyes
day.
start bleeding, or you have to like pee or something. Like you're gonna have
Yeah.
to log out, right? I think
Yeah.
the best way to make that game not super addictive where people just lose their lives in it is to like, and I know this sounds shitty, but I just think that some people would probably need this, is to make like the gaming fee or the monthly subscription high, right? Because they would
Yeah.
have to log out, go to work. Do you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
if they made it free, people would like just, I think that some people would just like lose their mind and
Oh
never step
God.
away, right?
No.
It's dangerous. Yeah.
I guess that's a good question. Is like, how would you? I have a couple questions that I'm curious to think. Hear what you think. Is do you have for? I guess you can answer them any order you'd like. First question
Okay.
would be like, how would you improve the MMO genre to like reach more people? If that's something that you think is good, do you want MMO genre to reach more people? And the other question would be like, are there any misconceptions about the genre that you hear a lot that you think aren't true?
Um, how would I push MMOs to be like bigger? I think they're already kind of working on that by putting MMOs not just on PC, but bringing them over to consoles. Because I know
Mhm.
for a fact that Terra is on console,
Is it
and
really?
the next game that they, yeah,
I had no clue about that.
yeah. So I think that is a way to what's the word I'm looking for? Expose people
Mhm.
to MMOs because not all people are PC gamers. Some people are like diehard console gamers. So I think that's a way to do that. And then some of the misconceptions I think is that like we're all like fat, unhealthy nerds who play these games and like don't do other things or, you know,
We just have
just
no
the
lives.
generalization. Yeah, just the generalization that comes with being a gamer sometimes, unless you're like streaming and you're some hot chick showing her boobs, or like some like guy who's just ridiculously ridiculous for the point of being ridiculous. There's just a lot of us, and the fact is that like a lot of people who play MMOs, some are moms, some are dads. You know, they're young kids. Like all the generations that I know of that exist, I guess, like there are people from those generations that play MMOs. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like people from all walks of life play them, who have access to them. So go ahead.
I actually wanted to bring this up, and I'm someone in our free company, and I will not say their name so that they can remain anonymous if they don't want this information shared. But there's someone in our FC who they're younger. I think they're like 16 or something like that, and they're playing Final Fantasy 14. And they brought up one day, I think that it was like they wanted some item, but they couldn't get it because their dad also played Final Fantasy 14, and like their dad ran like their own free company and had like their own account, and they were like doing stuff like completely independent of their son. I'm like, that's hilarious. Like the father and son both playing Final Fantasy, but like going in different
That's
directions.
kind of cute too at the same time. That's something that they could both talk about. So I think that's great too. Also, I just wanted to say like a little short story. My best friend, Jackie, started out on FF11. Final Fantasy 11.
Mm-hmm.
And she made like some lifelong friends. Like she was still in high school. And I think like there was one they called Mama Ducky, and she's like an older lady, and she has like 2 grown kids and stuff, and she used to play all the time. I am now friends with all of her closest friends on Facebook, and like I talk to them. I've never gamed with them, but I'm just like saying like these connections you can make just from things like that, you know. And she's so sweet. I love her to death. And she also had a friend who he actually came to visit us in real life, like when we lived in Florida, and she met him on the game. And it's just like, you can like create these strong bonds with people. That's amazing. And I think that's one of the really positive things about MMOs is just like the friendship and the bonds that you create.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think that MMOs are for everyone, or do you think there are actually like some people that who are MMOs not for?
I think people have to try them, right? Yeah. I think you can find an MMO that pertains to your taste because they're not all exactly the same when it comes to like combat or story. Mm-hmm. There are some things that are obviously the same, like the grinding, the leveling, that comes with most MMOs and that comes with most RPGs. So I think for most people, if you like an RPG, you won't mind it so much. Mm-hmm. And an MMO, because it's kind of like the same, like building your character up to get stronger. But I think anyone could play an MMO. It's just about trying it out first, right? Like ignoring all of the he say, she say stuff and like giving it a chance yourself. For example, like Final Fantasy 14 is not really my style. Like artistically, it's beautiful. The story I love, but the fighting, I don't like
that cooldown gameplay.
But I love Terra, which is also an MMO, and everything's pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. Just the battle system is different. So if you like a more active battle style where you're out there punching and swinging a knife or whatever, I'd say try Terra or even
Black Desert Online,
Avalon, or one of those. But if you're more into the classic battling style, like WoW, I would say go for something like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and if you don't like competitive, like player versus player, like Final Fantasy is really good. If you want like something where you can also fight other players, where PvP is really popular, Final Fantasy 14 is really bad for that. PvP sucks in Final Fantasy 14. Don't do it. I don't like it, at least.
Okay.
But World of Warcraft is much better for like player versus player
with
content.
PvP. Yeah, I hate PvP.
Yeah,
I don't ever do that.
So I didn't care. I'm like, whatever.
Because I like they'll just like you'll be like brand new, and like some dick will come in and just like fuck your day up.
Yeah.
Just to do it. And I hate that.
I think that's also where some of the idea that World of Warcraft has a toxic community comes from, is because it's a like a player economy and a player world that's very PvP focused. Whereas Final Fantasy 14 is like very story focused. PvP is like a very like niche thing. So the community's way more helpful because they're not nearly as competitive. Like there's only one specific zone in the game where you can actually fight other players. Everything else is totally safe from other players.
That's how they did Terra too. Like you have to go to like the PvP server. Yeah. Otherwise there is no PvP.
Yeah.
And that's because people want to enjoy the story and they want to like level naturally and they don't want to get somewhere and then some like overzealous player just kills them and they lose all their Yeah. I can't do it.
Yeah, and if I could say a misconception that I would like to correct is that along the lines of what you were saying about how we're not all like no life neckbeard people that, you know, are just only playing the game all day, although that's kind of what I do now.
You're on your vacation.
I'm on my
school.
Vacation. Yeah. Although my neckbeard is growing a little bit longer, I need to shave that soon. But another thing is, the communities are not that scary. Like people are just they're playing this because they're looking to have a good time. There's so many different kinds of people that play the games and they're just looking for fun. So like if you're not taking things so seriously and you're just trying to have a good time, then like people will be very responsive to that. Like, at least from my experience, people have not been taking the game too seriously, unless you go into like the highest of the high level content, but then you're asking for it, right? You're going into
because those are people who are like hardcore players.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it for that combo. And for anybody who would like to join, again, Darren, can you throw out the name of your guild?
Oh, yeah. Our guild is called Ashes of Yore. Yore spelt Y-O-R. We're on the Leviathan server. Can't remember the name of the data center, but just look for the Leviathan server. And come join us. We're a fantastic community. I'll be there to guide you and protect you and show you the ropes. I love helping new players because I was a new player myself very recently, and I know what it's like.
Nice. So guys, try it out. It's free for 30 days. And also, if you want to try out Terra, I don't have a guild or anything, but it's free and it's a different style of fighting MMO. So that's what I'd say. Just try them out. See if you like them.
Try it yourself.
You might be surprised. All right. So our next topic is we wanted to talk about some new games on the horizon. I picked a few that I'm really excited about, and Darren picked a few that he's really excited about. So I'll start off with mine, and then Darren, I'll let you take over and end it. Okay?
Sure.
So the first one I'm excited about is Little Devil Inside. The art style looks really, really cute. The platforms that it's supposed to come out on are PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. And the release date is set for July 2021. And they basically got a lot of their funding from a Kickstarter. So I'm excited to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see what this little indie game is going to bring us. So we will also, I forgot to say, we will also be posting a link in the description so you guys can check out the games too. The next one I love because, I mean, like, who doesn't want to play a game where you're a stray cat?
Yes.
Like,
I want to play a game with a stray cat.
Yeah, I want to be a stray cat. So the game is called Stray. The platforms that it's going to be on are PS5, PS4, and PC. And its release date is set for October 2021. And like I said, you get to play a stray street cat. Like, just think of the shenanigans you can get into. I'm excited for it.
I'm going to climb every goddamn surface in the entire town.
I know, right? I'm going to fuck with some dogs. Like, just upset them. All right, moving on. My next game is called Kinna. and it's called Bridge of Spirits, Kenna Bridge of Spirits. I picked this game because, like I said, I really wanted to start showcasing people of color as lead characters in games. And I won't tell you too much about it, but the main character is a person of color and she's female, so I'm all about that. The platforms it comes out on are PS4, PS5, PC, and the Epic Game Store. And they don't have a release date for the month, but it's supposed to come out this year. And it's basically an adorable adventure game where it's this girl and she's helping people by being a spirit guide. It looks really cute. I'm really excited to play it. And I don't know, like, it just, the art style reminds me of Pixar or like the new Disney animation. And last but not least, we have mentioned this game before a while back on another podcast that we used to be on.
That we've completely forgotten the name of. I don't know what this podcast
completely
is.
Forgotten. I don't even know what it's called. But it's Boyfriend Dungeon. Whoa. And this is probably the only way I'll get a boyfriend that I really could like see as useful. So it's going to be released on the PC and Nintendo Switch to be announced, but this year, 2021. And basically, it's a game where you can use your boyfriends as weapons. And
fantastic.
What Darren, tell me, what games are you interested in?
First of all, yeah, so I want to provide a little bit of context because I personally, and I have to speak for my mom as well because she's always looking for new game recommendations. And other people have asked us for game recommendations. And I'm happy that you're recommending indie games because I think there's a lot of games that, people just don't hear about very often. And it's always nice to know what's coming on the horizon that we're interested in that we think looks pretty cool because a lot of games come out every year.
Yeah.
And the list that we're both looking at, we were looking at an upcoming list from Games Radar of different games. And I wanted to make an effort to also only pick indie games because I think AAA games, big games, they'll promote themselves. I don't really need to actually
promote themselves already.
So I want to double up on Boyfriend Dungeon from Destinee just because that looks so cool. I was a big fan of. I was honestly a big fan of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where all of your weapons are already like anime girls, and so I'm like, come on, guys, just like cut the shit. Let's just date them already, okay? Right. Like that's what you're implying. Like, why are you holding back that aspect? So like, Boyfriend
Darren
Dungeon
obviously had a favorite weapon that he wanted to date, and he's a little upset that he couldn't date her in game.
Yeah, it's true. Okay. Come on, just let me date her. So thank you, Boyfriend Dungeon, for like being honest about what we all really want to date our weapons. We want to
date our weapons. That's what we want to do.
And then I'm only going to mention one other game. It's a game called 12 Minutes, and it's coming out for PC and Xbox this year, but no confirmed release date. And it's a thriller by developer Nomad Interactive. Nomad's interactive thriller 12 Minutes. It's a game about a husband stuck in a 12-minute time loop, and it's got kind of like a top-down perspective where you're looking like down on his apartment, and every 12 minutes you're like repeating the same cycle, and there's a mystery going on about why you're stuck in a time loop, what happened to your wife, what's going on. It's like very Memento, and just like really, really cool idea. I'm a sucker for time loops. And so like an indie developed time loop game that takes place in an apartment, sign me up.
That sounds pretty dope. I want you to play it because I know I wouldn't play it, but I want to know what is going on.
Yeah. Really, really cool stuff.
All right, so that's it for new games on the horizon. I hope you guys take a chance to look at the list and see if you see anything that you want to play. Let us know, like, comment, tell us what you guys think is interesting from the list, and tell us if you want us to pick up one of those games and talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah, if you guys have game recommendations for us, we'll play those games. That's a Darren guarantee.
And we'll talk about them.
That's a guarantee.
That was a good one.
Thanks.
All right, and so we're going to end with a little game of our own.
Oh, a game! I'm excited. What kind of game?
Yeah, nice segue. Nice segue.
What kind of game, Destinee?
Darren, well, okay. So I used to be forced to play this game where it was like porn star or like game character, and I
Lover
hated
or a
it.
fighter.
But lover or fighter. But I hated it because I could never win at it. I'm just not good at it. But I decided to take that game and tweak it to 80s movie or 80s video game.
Oh.
Now, to be fair, some of them in the 90s too, but I didn't want to say 80s or 90s. Yeah. So, Darren is going to be our contestant, and I will be reading off the titles. So, Darren, we have...
I just want to say I'm very excited and terrified all at the same time because I subjected you to this game for so long that, like, what are you going to do to me in return?
No, like, I'm almost, because you're a movie buff and you're a game buff. I don't even know if you're going to, like, I'm almost afraid you're going to know all the answers, and then that's going to be, like, really shitty.
Should I get some questions wrong on purpose for dramatic effect?
No, if you really know them, I think it's good.
All right.
Show your skills.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. The first one is called The Warriors.
Warriors, come out and play. That's actually a movie that was turned into a PlayStation 2 video game by Rockstar.
Was it?
Yeah, probably. It was a movie first, and then it became a video game.
This is what I mean. You see how he's a movie and he's a game buff? All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Burst City.
Okay, I actually do not know the answer to this one. All right. Burst City. Oh, God. Okay, that sounds like it could be like either like a really violent horror movie where people are like mutants and like just pus like popping off of them. They're bursting. Or like a really cute like Bubble Bobble style game. I'm gonna guess 80s movie.
Yes, but not the kind of 80s movie you thought.
Okay. Do you know what kind of movie it is? I've never heard of it.
It's like Kung Fu or something. It's not a horror movie.
Oh, wow. Okay. Burst City. I'm looking this up as we speak. I want to see what this looks like. Oh my God. It's got a like battle axe on the cover.
Yeah, it's not what you thought it was.
This looks dope. I want to watch this.
All right. Are you ready for the next one?
Born ready.
Blast Fighter.
Oh my God, that's so generic sounding. That sounds so generic.
Blast Fighter. Blast Fighter.
Call the freaking thing gun shooter. Like, I don't... What do you...
Pew, 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 pew.
Is that a video game?
It's a movie.
Damn it.
You got 2 right and 1 wrong. You're still doing good.
Blast Fighter.
Are you ready?
God. Yeah, that sounds like an 80s action movie, I guess. Yeah, I'm ready. What's the next one?
Alone in the Dark.
Okay, this is tough because this has been both a movie and a video game. It started off as a video game on the PC back in like 1980 something. You played a man in like, he was made of like the worst, lowest polygons ever. But then they also made a movie version of the video game directed by Uwe Boll. I think that's how you pronounce his name. One of the worst video game film directors of all time. So I guess I'll just say video game because that was technically the first one.
Good job. See, there you go. All right. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Streets of Fire.
That's a video game. I've heard of that one.
No, it's a movie.
What?
I think you're thinking of Streets of Rage.
Damn it! I was so confident too. I was so confident. Like, that's a movie. That's a game, hands down. Streets of Fire is a movie. Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
All right. Are you ready for the next one?
How many do I have left?
Just 2.
Okay. But I'm like got 3 right, 2 wrong so far?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm loving this. I'm so jazzed. All right, next one.
All right. Cannonball Run 2.
Oh my god. I feel like I actually know this. This is like ringing a bell really hard. Cannonball Run 2. Oh no. This sounds like it's like a Seth Green movie, but that wouldn't be in the 80s either.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to say movie?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. We got it.
All right. And the last one, I feel like you'll know this one. All right. Night Trap.
One of the trashiest video games of all time. It's a video game.
Yes. See, you did really good. You only got 2 wrong.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, 2 wrong.
My video game history is better than my 80s movie history. But
you did good.
Thank you. That was fun. I like that. I'd love to do that against a person who hosts another podcast that I forgot the name of. I think
maybe
his name's
if
Matt.
we like guest star on if we guest star on his podcast, maybe we can do it again.
I would love
but
to.
But I'm glad you enjoyed
him.
it. I really wanted you to win because I know how you get when you don't win. So I was like,
for the record, I've lived my whole life thinking I was a pretty good winner. Like I wasn't a sore loser or like a sore winner or anything like that. And I was like pretty confident in this. And then ever since I became friends with you, you pointed out how sore a loser I am, how terrible a winner I am. And I never believed you until I came back to Canada and was playing some board games with my brothers. And I lost or I won. And I was so hyper conscious about how I was doing it. And I realized, oh shit, Destiny's right. I'm a sore loser. I never knew this. I'm so sorry to everyone I've ever played games with.
Fine.
I'm really bad at losing, and I'm really bad at winning.
Yes.
This is why people don't want to play games with me.
No, we still want to play games with you. But that brings us to the end of Double D's Nuts podcast. I really hope that everybody enjoyed our game, enjoyed the news, enjoyed the topic, and please follow, like, subscribe. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I don't know if we're on SoundCloud, but you can definitely catch us on YouTube and any other major podcast provider. So
just Google that Burn Out Brighter podcast. I mean,
just Google us.
I mean, we're supposed to be Double D's Nuts, but we just Google Burn Out Brighter podcast.
Oh my God, Darren. How could you do that?
I'm sorry. It's ingrained in me. It's ingrained inside of me. I always forget.
I know. We've been on that other show so many times, but honestly, just, Double D's Nuts is what the podcast is called now. Okay.
Yeah. Just Google Double D's Nuts and don't come crying to us about what you find.
Yeah. Do not hold us responsible for anything that's in your search history.
Yeah, we share no liability to the results of that search at all.
Not at all.
We have lawyers.
All right, Darren. Would you like to send us off with a goodbye? Anything else you'd like to say?
Absolutely not. I just want to say thank you so much, Destinee, for your absolutely fantastic hosting job you did for us tonight. I think.
Thank you.
You did a wonderful job.
Thank you so much. I was nervous, guys. I was like very, very nervous. It's our first show.
I know.
I just
want
to
start
sure
off on the right
like
foot.
Us. Yeah. But also, I want to say thank you, Darren, for being an amazing, cool, and confident co-host.
Oh, thank you so much. It
All
just
the
runs
positivity.
in my blood. It's in my blood.
All right, guys. So catch you next time on Double D's Nuts. And sayonara.
Later.
They think I'm gone.